Hello fam, welcome back to my channel. I hope you all are doing good. Let's talk about the recent layoff from UPS. Could you imagine that UPS laid off 48,000 people this year, which includes 34,000 operational roles and 14,000 management roles? Those are human beings. Those are not objects. Those are human beings, and some of them have got families. What are they going to feed on? Let's talk about it.
Oh, no, nothing to see here. Only UPS axing 48,000 workers right before the Christmas holiday, all while reporting third quarter earnings that beat Wall Street expectations. So what you're telling me is you're laying off 48,000 people, even though your stock outperformed what Wall Street expected it to do in the third quarter. Yeah, that's cool. That's good stuff. It's great stuff.
UPS just cut 48,000 jobs, guys. But don't worry, it's to improve efficiency, they said. Translation there, robots don't need healthcare. Okay, so what are the details of this story? So first of all, CEO Carol Tome called 2025 the year of transformation after profits dipped nearly 20% for UPS. Now, if you guys remember, there was a story about a year ago about how crazy the wages had gone up at UPS and how much money the union had negotiated for the workers to be able to make. So the details here is that it's a massive automation rollout to cut human labor. So number two is its corporate spin here is the efficiency is the real story. Profit preservation is what's really underneath that. So the union pushback is expected, but it could completely redefine logistics jobs. Now, the volume loss from Amazon pulling like so many deliveries from everything else has to have hit UPS hard, guys. If you think about it, like how many of your packages actually come from UPS anymore and how many of them come from Amazon? Because I hardly ever get anything from UPS anymore. Everything is Amazon or some other site. So most of the layoffs here, they say, are coming from corporate, middle management, and automation targeted warehouse roles. In other words, it's everybody. So you can't cut 48,000 jobs and not have it be everybody and everybody be systemic. So I'm not going to go into whose fault this is or whose responsibility this is or what's going to happen. But when you cut 50,000 jobs from a major public sector like this, it really hurts the economy, and inflation is already crazy. So let me know your thoughts, guys. How is this going to affect everything going forward? Because we're over 1 million layoffs already in 2025.
Is my company shutting down? Okay, it's almost 8:30. We usually have an HR meeting canceled. We got told from one of our East Coast managers to cancel all interviews for today. Now, in place of that meeting, mandatory meeting company update with a bunch of people on it. I'm about to be jobless for the holidays. Okay, I'm about to log on, so we'll see. Wish me luck.
All right, I have really bad news, everybody. Effectively, immediately ceasing all operations. We have sent the call centers home on the east. We're filing for bankruptcy.
For the people that we did have onboarding, are we calling them and telling them this, or is HR doing that?
That is a good question.
If you're really frustrated, then just name it. If you feel like you're in a shock or, just recognize where you are. Because it mirrors the process of going through grief. So just take care of yourself like you have lost something. Because you have. We all have. Thank you. Thanks. Bye. Thanks.
So pissed.
I know.
Like, I'm actually so heated. And I'm just like...
We knew.
We talked about it.
No.
You just take your nails and again, they're so cute.
No, I'm getting them done on Thursday, but maybe I should cancel because I'm not going to have any more money.
No, literally.
No, like actually, though.
No, actually.
No, actually.
It hasn't opened yet, but
Yeah.
it's leading to a door that's about to open for all of us.
No,
And
I
I know
feel
it's
you.
super
We were really hating it. I feel like we were starting, honestly, to get like really
No, I was like crying.
like bitter, and even yesterday for me, I was like at a breaking point with, and it's like the smallest things, but
Really, like yesterday was rough for me. Yesterday was super rough for me, and I was even saying like, should I just quit without a job? And it's like, well, don't have to.
the universe did it for you, baby.
My heart goes out to the people losing their job, the people getting laid off. How do they expect them to cope? I understand that it's business. The company needs to put their own interest first before the interest of their workers. But what is the government doing? I read on the news, they're talking about more employment, but people are getting laid off. Some people have been out of job for months. They're struggling to find work. They're struggling to find a job. And then we're here, people are getting laid off. So how then do you expect the people to survive? Imagine getting laid off this festive period. How are you going to cope? If you have children, they will definitely be looking forward to you buying gifts, spending on them, making them feel happy. Children don't often understand when parents don't have money. Let's see how people are reacting to this in the comment section. Man, this one hits close. I've been driving for UPS for 12 years, and we saw the writing on the wall when Amazon started building out its own logistic. It's sad. Those facilities shutting down means entire community loses job, not just the workers. UPS driver here. 99% of the layoffs were part-time warehouse employees, specifically sorters in some buildings. The sort became automated, so those positions were not needed anymore. As far as drivers, we have not been touched at all. In fact, a lot of locations have been hiring throughout the year. UPS is trying to cut out inside warehouse positions, so it's only loaders, unloaders, and drivers. I hope so. Bro, I literally applied to UPS yesterday for the holiday season. The moment I submitted my application, I received an email saying they received my application, and in that same moment, they sent a second email saying I didn't have the right responses, so they were not moving forward with my application. What the hell? AI is choosing those resumes and applications. As a former HR professional and now retired, it would drive me crazy when my company would overhire in good times and cut in lean times. People are expendable in business, sadly, but that's the truth. Live below your means, have a side hustle, and don't be loyal to one company. That's the truth. If you decide to spend your entire life in a particular company, you're basically building someone else's business. I know not everyone can be an entrepreneur. I get that. But it's important for you to see things the way they are. Someone can wake up tomorrow and say, I don't want this number of workers anymore, without you doing anything, even when they are obviously making more money. So you really cannot tell when you're working for someone. Down the road, the economy will explode again, and companies will do the same wrong thing and overhire. From UPS worker here, we knew this was coming back in 2019, before COVID. Amazon was starting up with their own logistic department, and FedEx decided to bow out of their contract and not renew that summer. UPS could have done the same thing, but chose not to. At least I got my pension letter before it happened. I chatted up a UPS driver earlier this week. I told him I heard you guys were no longer driving for Amazon. He said he's not sure what took Amazon so long. They have their own infrastructure, so they don't need us. He said UPS management should have seen that coming. He said even a blind man could see that coming. I think they refused to see it coming. FedEx saw it coming and they made necessary move. I stopped doing business with Amazon 6 months ago. Yes, it's a little more work to find stuff, but I also spend less time because I'm only buying what I need. Everyone should stop buying useless crap. This one is talking about saving your money. It's important for you to save money. The money you have is what you're sure of, not the money you're going to get paid because you're working for someone. What if that money you're going to get paid never comes because of your work situation? Maybe you got laid off. So it's important for you to minimize what you spend on. Focus more on investing and saving your money. When I say saving the money, I'm not saying you should just leave the money in the bank. You can invest it to get a return or start a business with it. Or better still, save it than spend it on things you really don't need. I know a lot of people are buying things you don't need, and AI is a big problem here. AI puts people out of work, and then there will be no one to need their services. There won't be anything to deliver because no one will have a job to earn money to buy and ship anything. I get this person's thought process, but do you think it will ever get to this point? I understand that a lot of people out there have been projecting and saying that by 2034, by 2050, that companies will not be needing labor from humans anymore. The whole streets, the whole earth, the planet will be filled with AI doing the jobs. Do you really agree with that? Do you think that might ever happen? UPS has been doing this for years. In 2021, they started to outsource administrative jobs to India. Now it's just making headlines due to the large number of layoffs that can no longer be hidden. It's common to cut deadweight, obsolete, and unprofitable positions. Government services need to follow the same pattern. This person is not sympathizing with what is going on. The person is obviously in support of what's going on, and the person even thinks the government should do more. I learned from my days at Charter Spectrum. Anytime you hear words like growth or expand from corporate, that means layoff. I used to work at Atlanta UPS hub back in day. That was almost a guaranteed job. If you were down, you could go and load trucks part-time and seasonal. Also, don't quote me, I think UPS was second chance jobs for felons. So what's going to happen to them? Things are getting harder. It's not just in the US alone, it's global. But the media is busy talking about creation of jobs, people getting employed. But I don't think that's the case on a grand scheme of things. People are out here getting laid off. Last year, a lot of people got laid off. The first quarter of this year, people got laid off. Now, people are getting laid off again. What's going on? How then do they expect people to survive? We're not even talking about the inflation. We're not talking about the high cost of living. And then the government is worried about crime. When people don't have source of income, they're going to turn to crime. Let me know what you think about this in the comment section. Thanks for watching.